When faced with a threat or a dangerous situation, humans and animals have evolved various responses to ensure survival. The fight, flight, and freeze responses are commonly known as the body's natural reactions to stress triggers. In addition to these, there is another response that has gained recognition in the field of psychology, and that is the reaction of fawning. But we'll get to that later. Right now, let's talk about fight. The fight response is characterized by a person's instinct to comfort and combat threats head on. This can manifest as aggression, assertiveness, or standing up for oneself in a challenging situation. The fight response is often seen in individuals who have a strong sense of self-confidence and who believe that they have the ability to overcome threats through physical or verbal means. Fight can also display a lack of confidence in your ability to flee and get away, placate the threat, or outsmart the threat. On the other hand, the flight response involves a person's urge to escape or avoid the threatening situation altogether. This can be seen as running away, avoiding conflict, or seeking refuge in a safe place. The flight response is common among individuals who feel overwhelmed or powerless in the face of danger and believe that their best chance of survival is to remove themselves from harm's way completely and as quickly as possible. The freeze response is characterized by a state of immobility or paralysis in the presence of danger. This can be seen as a form of playing dead or simply being unable to act or make decisions in high-stress situations. The freeze response is often seen in individuals who are so overwhelmed by the fear of what they're dealing with that they feel completely and utterly helpless and unable to control the outcome of the situation. So, like a deer in headlights, they just stand there and wait for it to happen. However, the title of this video is the 5 reactions to threats in our lives. And that's because in recent years, 2 additional responses have been identified as part of the human survival toolkit: fawn, and in my opinion, feed. The fawn response involves people-pleasing behavior, trying to appease whatever or whomever is the threat in your life. Fawn is also seeking to placate those perceived as dangerous. This response is common among individuals who've experienced tremendous trauma or who have learned to prioritize the needs of others over their own safety. The fawn response, also known as the tend and befriend response, is a survival mechanism that involves attempting to appease the perceived threat in order to de-escalate a potential dangerous situation. Think battered wives or prisoners in penitentiaries who are abused by stronger inmates. Victims have learned to prioritize the needs of the abuser over their own. When someone exhibits the fawn response, they may engage in a people-pleasing behavior, such as trying to make excuses for the aggressor, avoiding conflict at all costs, or being overly compliant in order to avoid any confrontation. This behavior is often driven by a deep-seated fear of rejection, abandonment, or harm, and a strong desire to maintain a sense of connection and safety with others, even if it comes at their own expense. People who frequently engage in the fawn response may have learned this coping mechanism as a way to survive in environments where their needs were not consistently met or where they experienced repeated threats to their physical or emotional well-being. By prioritizing the needs and desires of others, those who fawn feel they can avoid conflict, gain approval, and mitigate the risk of harm. Individuals who habitually fawn may struggle to assert their own boundaries, prioritize their own needs, or advocate for themselves in challenging situations. This can lead to feelings of resentment, powerlessness, or disconnection from their authentic selves. Now, finally, we get to the feed response, which is one I have personally engaged in and have witnessed many times in others. It involves seeking comfort or solace in food when faced with stress or danger. This response is often a coping mechanism used to distract from the threat or to self-soothe in times of distress. The feed response is common among individuals who have learned to associate food with comfort and safety. Is this you? I know it's me. Feeders will often escape into a world of pleasure through taste and a full belly. They'll do this instead of facing down or taking action against the threats in their lives. It is important for individuals who frequently engage in the feed or even the fawn response to recognize the underlying reasons for their behavior and to develop a healthier coping mechanism for managing their stress and their conflicts. This may involve practicing assertiveness skills, setting strong boundaries, and seeking support from trusted individuals. People can learn to prioritize self-care and self-compassion, and you can do this by understanding and addressing the root causes of the pain and struggles at the core of your feeding and fawn responses. In this way, you can move towards a more balanced and more empowered life. The fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and feed responses are all natural survival mechanisms that have evolved to help us navigate threatening situations. By understanding these responses and how they manifest in different individuals, we all can gain insight into our own behavior and others and learn to cope more effectively with the stresses and threats of this world. Thank you for listening, and as always, have a wise day.